Let's kick it off. Ready? All right. Those of you guys that were here on Monday, watching online or here in the office, I first just kind of want to recap a little bit from Monday, and then we'll go on to finishing part 2 of this workshop today. So really quick, guys, let's maybe pull out your pages. Those of you guys that have your worksheet in front of you, those of you guys maybe have it online, maybe kind of looking through the first 2 pages. Just take 1 minute to kind of just have you guys look through your first 2 pages. And what I want to know from you guys is what stood out for you. Is there anything that stood out from the first 2 pages that we went through? First page was just a reflection on 2024. What's our net income, number of closed and pending? What did I do well? What did I not do so well? If I could redo one action or behavior, what would it be? And then top 3 priorities for the next 2 months to really start the year strong. And then we also went over 2025 income and activity goals. And we shared upon why this goal was important for us and who's impacted by it. So what I want to know from you guys is maybe, is there anything that has stood out from taking the time to do those 2 pages? Any realizations that you've had? Have you thought about it since then? Have you just said, hey, I haven't even thought about it. We had a workshop on Monday and I just went back to, business as usual?
No, actually, yeah, I'm kind of, I've made a pact with myself to come in and make those phone calls,
There we go.
even though nobody's answering.
So by you doing this, it kind of reinforced like, hey, I got to get in here and make the
I
calls.
just got to do it.
Yeah.
Don't want to do it, but I got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What else, guys? Anybody at home, feel free to unmute yourself and just share. I want to just kind of kick this off with just a couple minutes of sharing. What stood out for you guys from this first 2 pages of this exercise?
Discipline. Discipline to make the calls. We need to make the calls.
You need to make the calls. Need to make the calls. Absolutely. And really what we mean by we need to make the calls is we need to get in front of more people, right? We need to communicate with more people. Calls can be switched out with, I need to text more people. I need to email more people. I need to maybe pop by, more people that I know that maybe have a business. I need to post more on social media. Like we need to create more contact with people, right? Making a call is just one form of making contact with people, right? But the moral of the story here is like, hey, if I want to increase my sales, I need to get in front of more people and talk about real estate. That could be hosting an open house. That could be doing a video. That could be showing up to, a colleague's, business, whatever that might be, setting up a lunch meeting, right? Insert all those different things. But I like that Kim and Chris are pointing that out. What else stood out for you guys? Any realization?
I like the reflect and share part. Because for me personally, like I tend to self-sabotage a lot. And when you have to go and share it with others, like it may be still me like putting myself down, but then they're like, no, like, but you're doing this and you're doing this. So it helps to like hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of encourages you to, do the things that you're planning to do and to focus on like the positives that you did do the year before.
I like that. That's a really, really good observation. Those of you guys at home, if you couldn't hear Lizzie, she said, reflecting to be able to acknowledge the great things that happen, right? Instead of self-sabotaging or instead of focusing on the negative or what you could have done better, also acknowledging the things that you did do, right? The wins that you did have, right? And I think that's important, guys. And that's why these 2 questions are on there. What went well, right, is one of the questions. It's not like, what do I have to improve? And that's the only thing on the document. It's also acknowledging what went well. One thing I've learned through self-development and work and even therapy is that your mind, the way the mind is built, it's always going to go to the negative stuff by default.
Easy.
It's always going to, because we have what's something called an ego, right? The ego lives off of fear, anxiety, self-doubt, negativity, right? So if you don't do anything, your mind will default to negative. It'll default to fear. It'll default to that stuff. So the challenge is you have to understand, like, that's just the way the mind works. The mind is always going to worry, right? Because the mind does what it does. So how do you get out of that is you have to lead your mind to the direction that you want it to go, right? And you have to do that intentionally by acknowledging, writing down, sharing, discussing your wins, right? Because raise your hand if you're your own worst critic, right? Naturally, right? Raise your hand if you're your own biggest cheerleader. Right? Not everyone raised their hand, right? Some of us are, like some of us had learned, like, hey, I got to cheer myself on. I got to pump myself up. But everyone pretty much raised their hand saying I'm my own biggest critic. So you see, like, that's just a clear example that we're always going to go the negative side if we just let our mind do that. So by taking the time out of our workday and out of our, working in the business, this is something considered working on the business. You got to write down what's working, right? Give yourself the pat on the back. Be your own biggest cheerleader, right? That's how you're going to push through these tough times. That's how you're going to set yourself up for success. And you have to always just remember that. Lead your mind where you want it to go, right? Okay, cool. Let's kick into it, guys. Page 3. Or did anybody else have anything to share? Anybody else, anything that stood out for you real quick before we move on? Adrian.
Well, I guess just putting everything into actual tangible numbers, that just makes it a lot more clear. Like, hey, I'm already, I don't know, 50% there, my goal, or whatever. I'm 50% completed or whatever. It's a lot more easy to measure.
Yeah.
Than just saying, oh, I want to do whatever.
Yeah.
A lot more tangible, like you said last time. I need to be more tangible, and
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
That's a great observation, right? And we pointed that out when you shared is you have to be able to measure what it is you're trying to hit. If there's no target, if there's no way of measuring, then how do you know if you're scoring good or you're not scoring good, right?
Exactly.
And so that's the practice that you just need to understand is there always has to be some form of measurement because the measurement is your grade, it's your score. Just saying, I want to be successful, right? Raise your hand if you want to be successful. Okay. Now, then I'm going to ask you, well, what does success mean to you and what does success mean to you? It could be two different things. You guys have a different measuring stick. Success could be like, I want to close 10 deals. Success to you is like, hey, I want to, allow my wife to quit her job, right? Two different things, right? And how do you measure that? So if you don't have clear goals that are tangible, that are measurable, that have actions behind them, we're just talking about ideas and theory at that point, right? So you got to get down to the nitty gritty is how do I measure, right? Because we can help you increase what you're measuring. I can't help you feel successful, right? But if you said, hey, I want to close 10 deals and I want to make $100,000, I can map out a plan and reverse engineer what you have to do every single day to get there, right? And we can measure that on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, right? So what I'm teaching you guys here is this is how you run a business at the end of the day, right? These are things they don't teach you in real estate class when you get your license. They don't teach you how to think like a business owner. And at the end of the day, what I want you guys to take away from this is you are a business owner. You just happen to be a business owner that is under the umbrella of, the EXP brokerage and our team, right? You're in partnership with us. But at the end of the day, this is your business, right? Which means you're responsible for knowing these things. You're responsible for trying to learn how to be a better business operator, right? Everybody say that with me. I'm a business operator,
I'm a business operator.
right?
Operate.
And you're an operator and you should speak that way, right? Like Adrian, if I was to go to a barbecue and say, hey, Adrian, what do you do?
I'm a business operator. I own my own business.
Yeah, there you go, right? But most people go, oh, I'm a realtor.
What's such a thing?
Well, guess what? So are 20 other thousand effing realtors out there, right? But if you're like, hey, I own a real estate business, right? Hey, I own a real estate business. I've owned a real estate business for the last 20 years, 10 years, 15 years, last 3 years. I operate a real estate business, right? You see how that's different, right? You see how that's different than just being a realtor, right? Realtor means you went downtown to SCORE and you did your ethics and I pledge allegiance, right? Now you're a realtor. Go do it, bro. All right. But saying I'm a business operator, I'm a business owner, or I own a real estate business, I guarantee you, if you start speaking that way, people are going to look at you a little bit different. And when you start speaking that way, you're going to start acting that way because you are speaking that into your mind, right? So I want you guys to get that crap out of your vocabulary that you're just a real estate agent or you're a realtor. I want you to now, from here going forward, you are a real estate business owner. You own a real estate company. You own a real estate business, right? And then start acting that way, right? Then you got to ask yourself the question, if I own a real estate business, what would a real estate business owner be doing on a daily basis? How would they treat their business? How would they review their numbers? How would they look at their CRM? How would they look at their marketing, right? How would they look at their appearance, right? How they communicate to their clients, how they show up online, how they, right? You see how like that's the domino that's going to like start opening all the other, pushing all the other dominoes over, right? And we want to get you to think differently because if you're going to do something different in 2025, guys, you need to start doing something different, right? If you want to do something different, you want your business to look different in a positive way, you need to start doing something different. What got you here right now is not going to get you to the next level in your business. It's not. If you just keep doing the same old thing, you're going to get the same old results. And if you're fine with the same old results, more power to you. But if you're not fine with the same results, you're like, no, I want 2.0 version. I want Mark, CEO of his real estate business 2.0. This year was 1.0. I want 2.0 next year. That means you got to start showing up different. I'm using Mark as an example, right? But this is where you have to have that business mindset, right? And so I hope this is getting your wheels turning right now, right? Because we can, like I said earlier, we can have a great plan on paper, but until you take ownership that I am a real estate business, this plan, you might as well rip it up. Doesn't mean anything. Feel me on that?
Mhm.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Bring it today. So we went over page 1 and page 2. Now we're on page 3 of lifestyle and personal goals. And what we're doing here, guys, is we're casting the vision, right? Because if you don't have a vision for what you want your life to look like, I promise you, you will never get there. If you can't even think of it, you can't see it on paper, you can't envision it, there's no way you're going to be able to map it out. And then you're going to be like next year at the same time this year, you're going to be wondering why like things look the same. It's because you didn't cast a vision, right? If you cast a vision, that's the first step in you now taking the actions that'll make that vision come through, right? If you can't see it in your mind that, hey, I close 30 plus transactions or I make 500,000 a year in real estate and I do that and this is what happens and this is what I do with that. If you can't even like see that in your mind, you're dead right there, right? And so this is what we're going to do. We're going to cast a vision. Some of you guys may not be where you want to be right now in these different areas. And the reason we wrote down these different areas because all of these different areas like interrelate, right? It's not just like being good at business. It's also like, well, what's my lifestyle like as a result of me being great in business? What are my health and fitness goals, right? I can't be like making hella money, but my health is in the tanks because, right? What happens if I die, right? I work so hard just to be unhealthy and then like I don't get to enjoy the fruits of my labor, right? Relationships, right? Hey, great, you're closing deals, but your relationships suck. You do not have a good relationship with your kids. You do not have a good relationship with your family. You and your spouse do not have a great relationship because you're so busy working, right? That's not what we signed up for, right? But until you put that shit down on paper, you know, and like declare like this is what I want it to be, it's not going to happen, right? Travel and experiences. Raise your hand if you like to travel. Traveling's fun. Everyone loves to travel, right? Okay, well, I want you to write that down. Like, where do you want to go? What do you want it to look like, right? Start casting that vision for yourself, right? Because then you have something to look forward to. When it gets hard, you know why you're working so damn hard. When the clients ghost you and then you got to come in and prospect and you're not feeling it, you got to pull this up. Remember, this is what I'm trying to go after, right? It's raining. It's cold now. I don't want to get to the office early. Here's why. right? Here's why I'm going to fight the cold. Finances and wealth. Define your financial milestones. What does it look like, right? Hey, is it just like I want to pay off my credit card debt? Hey, if I want to have some savings, hey, if I want to retire, like everybody's situation is different, but you got to define that. So let's take a couple minutes right now to have everybody fill this part out. And I would say just jot down some bullet points, right? Boom, boom, boom. It doesn't have to be perfect, but get some ideas on paper, right? Those of you guys at home, if you guys have the document printed out, take some time to jot this stuff down. If you have it online, fill it in. And we'll put about like 5 minutes on the clock. I'm gonna play some music while you wait. And then we'll do a little bit of sharing. The first page. Yeah, do that first page and then we'll do a little sharing. Basically, we got 3 pages. So do the first one, share, next one, share. Sorry about that. I think we have people still writing. We'll give it another minute, guys.
We are also doing the systems and skills development, right?
Yeah, we'll move to that page next. Right now, I just wanted everyone to fill out this first one, the lifestyle and personal goals.
Okay, cool.
You're welcome to move on if you're already done, but I'll start explaining that one next.
Okay.
I guess so. All right, all right. Hopefully everyone had enough time to write some ideas down. All right, let's share real quick, guys. Those of you guys willing to be open and share, let's kind of run down the list. Lifestyle vision for 2025. Any thoughts or ideas you'd like to share? Those of you guys at home, also feel free to unmute yourself. Describe your ideal day-to-day lifestyle in 2025. What does it look and feel like?
I could take over.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Kim, talk to me.
I really like the idea you said that when anyone asks you what you do for a living, and you said you are a real estate business owner, it's excellent. I never thought of it that way. I always say I'm in real estate business, but I never say I'm the owner. Because I was thinking all the time that I'm working with the brokerage and blah, 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 you know. So I like that. And with that idea in my mind, what I like to do is discipline myself and open a business at home. And the business at home will be from 9 to 5, just like I go to work for someone else. But when you run the business, you need to put in the hours that when you open a restaurant, whatever, you have to have, opening business hours, 9 to 5, 7 days a week, 6 days a week. So I like to follow that discipline. Now, the business that we have doesn't cost us anything. We don't have to put any capital, whatever it is, right? We just go in, open the door, and make the call, do whatever we need to do from 9 to 5. And that's what I like to do.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Let's give it up for Kim, guys. Good stuff. Yeah, it's powerful, right? Like just saying, hey, if I have a business that I own, when would my business be open, right? It would be open at least from 9 to 5, like any other, business, right? Maybe even more, depending on how busy you are. But just establishing that in your mind, I think is going to be the domino that knocks the other dominoes down, right? So I like that. Great job on sharing. Anybody else? Lifestyle vision for 2025? Amish.
So I'm actually switching from being in the office and making my vehicle my main office. So I'm actually going to be focusing a lot more on sales and more of client interactions and outsourcing a lot of the repetitive work that I'm doing right now in the office.
Excellent, excellent. So focus more on sales and outsource more of the administrative stuff.
Yeah, focus on the kind of more value, like things that are more valuable for me. Like anything that's repetitive, just outsource it to let somebody else do it.
There you go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sila, you raise your hand.
Yes, I will add my perspective about lifestyle and vision for 2025. I will describe my ideal day, waking up 8:30, be in my office at 9 o'clock, and be there by 1, do my life, like home stuff, and be at my work around 3 o'clock. If I have to take meetings, I have to meet clients, showing properties, and add my health goal in every day, probably 5 days a week. Do something for my health. It is very important for me. So that would be my vision for life, for 2025. I don't know, is it
Awesome.
worth? I think it's going to help me out a lot in both ways, business way, at the same time on healthy way.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. No, that's great. And remember, guys, it's not a right or wrong, right? It's what's your vision for yourself. And it's the whole point of being intentional. If you're being intentional, saying like, no, I must be at the office by this time, you can build off of that and you can adjust it and tweak, right? But if you just kind of let the day take you where the day is going to take you, you're not going to have success that way, right? You're not going to have consistent success. So I like that you guys are establishing like what time, stuff like that. That's measurable, right? So great job. Health and fitness goals. Who wants to share? Anybody got any health and fitness goals? Adrian.
So my goal is to go run at the beach like 3 times a week, at least 5 miles a day. I already started maybe 2 weeks ago. It's working out.
There you go.
5 miles already?
On the beach? Well, I live like
Oh, that's right. You live in Monterey?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like,
That's got this work, bro. I thought you were
Did you already do 5 miles?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Yesterday I actually did 7.
Nice.
Like if I do 1 mile,
So head to the beach, run at least 3 days a week, get in around 5 miles each run.
Exactly. It's good cardio and it clears my mind.
I love that.
Yeah.
There you go. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Top that, guys. You got a beach near you? Anybody else have any other health and fitness goals they want to share?
I'll have surgery in my kneecap, so, this year.
That's part of the
I'm
year
waiting.
plan.
I don't want to do it,
You don't want to do that.
I don't want to do it. But I gotta do it.
Do you think that's going to help you and improve
I
your?
have meniscus in my right knee, so eventually, so yeah, eventually I'm gonna have to do it.
All right.
The question is when.
When? Well, I had surgery on my nose earlier this year, and I can tell you there's never a right time to have surgery. It's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
the sooner you do it, the quicker you can start the
Exactly.
recovery process,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
Yeah, there's a month there, and I'm kind of going.
yeah. All right. Well, best of luck on that. Anybody else have any health and fitness goals they want to share?
I'll go.
Dev, what you
I
got?
used to consistently run, I would say at least 3 miles a day, every single day, for 9-8 months. I want to start doing that again. My goal is pretty conservative compared to Adrian's. I did 365 miles in the whole year total. So it
Nice.
can be in any order or anything. This way I kind of have the motivation and kind of the consistency to kind of push more next year? Because I mean, I clearly have done it, right? So that's not the problem. It's just doing it consistently.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. 365 miles in a year, right? Whether you get them all done in a day, a week, right? You group them up, right? But you're averaging 1 mile a day, basically.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah.
Valid.
That's
Now I
awesome.
don't have a problem.
And I think more than anything, right? Because I've done like challenges like that where I'm tracking like exercises. You guys see me post all the time. I put 0 out of whatever, 10 out of whatever. It's just building the habit of staying consistent. That's all it is. I remember last week I wrote on one of my posts, like, I'm not so much worried about getting fit. I'm more worried about staying consistent, right? And if I stay consistent, I'll get fit in the process, right? Not the other way, right? So however you got to do that. So I challenge you, because there's one thing, like, you just declared this to us, but I challenge you to now like put it out there somehow.
And like
Put on social media, right? Like 1 out of 365. And then just, that's your own accountability with yourself. Like, I post every single workout I do, just a picture in the mirror. It's not because I'm trying to like say, hey, look at me, I'm better than anybody. I'm just, it's my way of like, I built the habit of like when I post, and I'm just used to posting, and that just keeps me on track. That's all it is, right? But it's a great habit to form. And I promise you, when you become more consistent in your health and fitness, that trickles over into all the other areas of your life, because how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? And so I think that's a great way to start. Yeah, good job. Mark.
Just for this one, for me, because for those who don't know, I was a personal trainer for 10 years before I got into real estate. So for me, my goal is to kind of like, I had such a strong drive and passion for fitness when I was in the gym every day, like talking to people about their fitness goals, and then being able to hop out on the floor and work out myself. It made it very easy. So I've noticed ever since then, I've been working out from home, and my desire and drive has been a lot lower. Just not being in that atmosphere. So my goal is to get back into the gym and being around other people that, motivates me a little bit more. And maybe my workouts would be a little bit more intense as well. So if anyone wants a consultation on how to reach their fitness goals, that used to be my specialty. So kind of similar, I used to consult clients on their real estate goals. I used to consult clients on how to achieve a specific, overcoming a limitation, or doing a body recomposition, or whatever it may be. So
Oh,
throw that out there.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I want to challenge you. Like, Josh is big in fitness. Rob, you guys know Rob is a bodybuilder, right? Maybe you could start a little culture, bro, within our office, a little subculture of like the people who get together for, for runs or for workouts or whatever. Like, that's dope, bro. Like, I would love to participate in something like that. I can't run it all, right? So I would say, like, you be the champion of that, right? But it could be like, hey, we meet up once a week and we go get a workout in together, right? And that just becomes a thing. Or, hey, we meet up once a week and we go get a run in or a bike ride, whatever, right? Whatever you want it to look like, right? And I promise you, you'll get more business out of that too. Because it'll be something you get to talk about and promote, right? And then that creates conversation. And then like-minded people will want to do business with you, right? So I think that's the strength that you bring to the table, is that you have all this experience in the fitness world, right? Got to incorporate that into your business, right? Sometimes we think like, I must only do real estate stuff to get more real estate business. But remember, people are going to do business with you because they know you, like you, and trust you. And how do people gain trust, or who are people going to trust the most? Is people who are similar to them, have similar interests and vibes, right? That's like the quickest way to build trust, right? Like, if you go meet a client on a Zillow tour, you guys happen to talk about fitness and he's a personal trainer, what do you think is going to happen in that conversation? Right? Start bonding. Oh, you're a personal trainer? I was in personal training for 10 years. I used to run the gym, right? Boom. All of a sudden, you guys are fucking workout butts. And he's buying a house, right? You get what I'm saying, right? So, like, find your tribe, guys. Like, if you can't find it, create it, right? I like that. This is a really good topic, but I want to get you guys' mind getting outside of the box of where, like, it only has to look a certain way, right? Still got to make calls, but like, sorry. All right, relationship goals. Let's get one of each of these so we can move forward. Relationship goals. What do you aim to nurture and achieve in your relationships? It could be relationships with a significant other. It could be family relationships, personal friendships, whatever that might be. Give me some thoughts on that, guys. Anybody who wants to share.
One of my activities is I'm really gonna get into social media. And I hope to use your broadcast room back there.
Yeah.
And developing monthly or every 2 months, monthly activities, office things for events for people would be great. You know?
Who thinks she would crush it in social media, guys?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think it'd be great. In fact, I want to have you guys in for interviews and, I got all kinds of plans on that, yeah?
I love it. I love it. You guys know I'm, all about social media, but I think you're the demographic that is less on social media. So by you being the one that like puts himself out there, like that would just blow up in your favor, right?
I think so. I do. I've been having a stream on it.
Yeah.
It's one of my goals.
Yeah.
2025.
And then that goes for a lot of people. For some of us that are a little older, a little more experienced, a little more seasoned, whatever you want to call it, we tend to not be on social media, right? But then there's that one who does go on and like they blow up, right? Because they're like, they don't look like everybody else, right? And you have so much personality, like so many funny things you say. Like I think that would be a hit. I think that would be a hit for you. I don't know. I challenge you.
And that's what I want to do. Because I was thinking, bring you guys in occasionally and we'll have thoughts. I want to talk to you more about.
Yeah, well, let's
that's
talk
one of
about
my
it for
goals,
sure. Let's talk about it. Anybody else, guys? Relationship goals? What do you aim to nurture?
So this year, even though I wasn't working, I unintentionally built a little community of moms within my kids' school.
Ooh.
Oh, excellent.
So
Yeah.
I want to keep that going because it helped us out a lot. Like there's just been things that come up sometimes. Like this morning, one of the moms had car trouble and it was raining. So I was like, hey, I'll go pick you up. So picked her up, took the kids to school, and we've just all kind of helped each other out. Like our kids, they get along, they play, our husbands tend to not be very social. So like we were like the social ones that also brought in the husbands. And so now we get together, we got together for Halloween, stuff like that. So I want to start this next year, like to kind of do like little events within the area, like grow the community a little bit more. Like I noticed that a lot of times, like with moms, we tend to not ask for help when we really need it. But then once we get comfortable, we sit down, we talk, we're a little vulnerable within each other. We realize we all need help. So I'm going to do that and like keep building on that for next year.
That's awesome. That's an awesome idea. And it's a great cause, right? Like you're making an impact on people. I totally would, encourage you to keep doing that. If anybody knows, Kevion, he started this little club called Rad Dads. And it was like a small little meetup with like 5 or 10 dads, right? And it's just only dads, right? And they meet for coffee or whatever. And they just talk about, life and, marriage and kids and personal development and all that stuff. And they support each other. It's just like a little tribe. And I know for sure he gets business out of that, right? But it's just the Rad Dad community, right? So I don't know. You could coin it, you can market it. That could be your whole like marketing pillar that you do. It's like you create this mother's empowerment group and you guys meet. And it's not really about real estate or mortgage, but in the process, like people go to you because they know that's what you do, right? Like, I love that. I think that's a really good idea. And you already are starting it like organically, right? Now, how do you like just take it to the next level? Right? Good. That's awesome. Travel and experiences, guys. Either travel and experiences or finances and wealth. Anybody want to share? Any thoughts?
I want to do an East Coast trip, New York to DC, for a weekend at least.
New York, DC, East Coast trip.
I like museums.
All right.
Do the Smithsonian for a couple of days, at least 2 days, if not 3. Then go up to New York, and I love museums in New York. Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds like fun. I would suggest like put a date on that, right? Like by this date, if I do this, then I do this, right?
Yeah, I can. Just give me some money, honey.
Yep. Zyla, you raised your hand, Zyla?
Yes, my goal of success is also taking my family to trip to Turkey or somewhere we all family can go on first class and stay in a top resort. So that's my goal for next year. So I just like the idea. You said you need to put a date on it. And I'm thinking I will put a date in September next year. Inshallah.
There we go.
Yep.
September next year. Okay, so my challenge to you guys with that have these trips and travel experiences is, when is it going to happen? How much is it going to cost? And then how many sales do I need to close so that I'll be okay with taking that part of my income and using it for this lavish trip, right? And because that alone could be your motivation for next year. Like 2025 is the year I took my family to Turkey, all expenses paid, first class. It's going to cost me $25,000. In order for me to hit that, I got to close 10 deals, because if I close 10 deals, I'm going to make this amount of money and I'll be able to allocate 25,000 out of that to take my family out. You see how that becomes like measurable and tangible? And then that's like a plan that you can build out. Okay, well, if I want 10 deals, how many appointments do I got to set? How many people do I got to meet? And like every day when you come into the office and you're getting after it, like make that your screensaver, right? Make that your screensaver on your phone, make that your screensaver on your desktop, put that in your mirror, right? Like on a piece of paper. In my mirror, guys, on a piece of paper, I have like goals written down and it's attached to my mirror. It's just taped on, right? So every day when I brush my teeth, I see those. I haven't hit them all, but I definitely checked off a bunch of them, right? Like create that system, right? Now you know what it's worth it. You know what you're trying to do every single day. Let's take one more, guys. One more. Travel experience or finances and wealth. Anybody have something they want to share? Financial milestone, wealth building goal, travel.
I'll go. I'm planning about 4 vacations next year. I anyways do 3 or 4, so just it doesn't help that I just came back after 2 weeks of vacation from Europe. So, but I have when kids have the week off from school, I better be on vacation. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy.
All right, so Meech needs to close a lot of deals, a lot of big deals. Then if he's trying to go on 4 vacations, right?
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, write those down, put them somewhere, right? Map them out, start putting them on the calendar, right? And look at those. If you don't look at them, guys, then it's not going to happen, right? But that's exciting. Okay, let's move on, guys. We got about 15 minutes left. That should be enough time to get through this next page. The last part of it, guys, so let me just really quick show you. This next, we're going to talk about systems and skill development. This might be a little quicker. And then the last one is just mapping out a calendar for ourselves, a weekly schedule. Some of you guys may already have a weekly schedule, so this might just be review. Some of you guys have no schedule at all, and so you might need to spend a little more time. But let's take 5 minutes, guys. What I'm looking for in systems and skill development, right? What systems implemented in 2024 have served you best? A system can be different things. It could be like my buyer presentation. That's a system. It could be like the CRM. Like I really went hard in the CRM. I've mastered it. I've learned it. It could be like a system for how I run my schedule, right? There's systems all over the place, right? Sometimes we think system is like a software. No, it's how you do something, right? What systems am I missing from my business? Like maybe like, hey, like I need to learn the listing presentation, or I need to learn the buyer presentation, right? Or I need to learn how to use this damn follow-up bus. Like I'm a noob, right? That's what my kids call noobs, right? What am I still missing? And what is my time frame to deploy that, right? If I'm like, hey, I need to do X, there needs to be a date by when, right? How will these systems elevate my business? What top skills will you focus on improving in 2025? How will these skills impact your business? So they're just kind of follow-up questions. And then we have seminars, conferences, events that you want to attend or you're committed to attending. And then how will this stuff benefit you as well? So let's take
Are there any recommendations that you have for conferences for us?
Any recommendations for conferences? Yeah, I heard Follow Up Boss. The FubCon is a really good one. That's every year, and Fub's owned by Zillow now, so they kind of they've merged them with Zillow and FubCon. conference.
Okay.
But to be honest, guys, what has really been powerful for me is just tapping into a lot of the online ones. There's online seminars happening all the time. Our EXP group has masterminds every single week for all different skill levels. They have new agent masterminds. They have solo agent masterminds. They have masterminds for agents only doing 30 deals or more. They have masterminds for agents doing 50 deals or more. They have masterminds for agents doing 100 deals or more, right? So they're smaller group, and those happen like on a monthly basis or bi-weekly basis. And so to me, like it's free and it's like high value content and it's right in our fingertips, guys. So I like doing a lot of the online seminar stuff just because traveling is a little tough for me because I got small kids.
How old are your kids?
11 and 8. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Great.
and they're busy with school and activities. All right. So I'm gonna put 6 minutes on the clock, guys. Sila, do you have a question?
Yes, I have never thought of using any system or anything, but I like the idea. I need to learn this and this and this, but how I can put everything like in prospect, like how I mix everything. I don't know how to do that.
I'm unclear of your question, right? So is there a
So my
certain one that you want to focus on or give me an example?
like I don't know how it works, to be very honest. The
Okay.
systems. So I don't know how to fill this out.
Okay. So systems can also be substituted for like process. Like what process do I need to learn or master, right? Or skill, right? So systems, process, or skill, those can all be interchangeable, right? So
Got it.
for example, if you're a newer agent and you're just trying to get your business off the ground, buyer presentation is key, right? Like you need to have a really good buyer presentation. You need to have a
Mhm.
really good offer consultation when you're trying to consult someone on writing an offer. You need to have a really good home showing process or system, right?
Mhm.
Because just showing a home and opening the door is a lot different from like, these are the 10 steps I do on every single showing, right? And so I
Mhm.
want you to think of it in that way. Like, what is a part of my business that I need to master and get it to the highest level possible, right?
Got
It
it.
may not necessarily be something new. It may be something you're already doing, but
Mhm.
you got to take it to the 2.0 version, the best version possible.
Got it. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
I think also the best thing with this exercise is that you make things aware, right? So
Yeah.
This exercise that you're doing brought that to light. Now you're able to go find the answers for it. Right?
Mhm.
So it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And here's the other kicker, guys, really quick. You might write down a few ideas, but when we do a one-on-one, we're gonna pick one that we're gonna focus on, right? If you write down 10, like, you can't master 10. You can master one out of 10, right? We might say, okay, do one. This is the most important one that we gotta, right? One or two at the most. Like sometimes we might have 100 ideas. No way to do that. All right, let it go. Good luck. I don't think anyone could beat Adrian at this point.
So you don't get any points for doing, to leaving a voicemail.
All right, guys, let's get everyone to fill theirs out. We're coming up almost on time.
Another quick question.
We're still writing? All right. Let's do a little sharing, guys, and we're going to wrap up. So the last part of it, before we share, is your schedule. Let me just give you some direction on that. You guys can continue to work on this after, but on the schedule part, I want you guys to just jot down some bullet points, right? This doesn't have to be perfect. You can refine it. The first step is to like just compartmentalize, like, okay, what am I doing in the mornings? What am I doing in the afternoons, right? If I had to design my schedule, you know, the ideal way to work for me, for my lifestyle, like where would I insert certain things, right? More like time blocks. I think time blocks are easy, and then you could build off of those instead of like specifically like I'm brushing my teeth at this time, like all that stuff, right? Instead, like say, hey, like me time from this time to this time, prospecting from this time, training, client servicing, me and my honey's time. I don't know, right? Like something like that. Time block, right? Put the blocks in there. And then from there, you guys can go in and like plug in some of the details, right? So we'll do that after, but let's end off right now because we're coming up on an hour and I want to respect everybody's time, is systems and skill development, right? Give me some ideas of what you guys got on there. What systems implemented in 2024 have served you best? Let me get two shares.
I think tracking all my metrics, is a big change for me. It was easier to know where I'm at, how I'm doing, and it wasn't so much like, oh, I think I did good or not. And just having that, like, those thoughts like floating in my head get put on paper just made it a lot easier for me to focus on more important stuff. And I didn't realize it until like I reflected this time. I was like, "Damn."
There you go. So for those of you guys listening online, Mauricio said tracking his activities and his numbers, right? Whether you're using our tracker that we use, whether you're tracking on your own, but just the fact that he's just started tracking at a higher level this year, that created self-awareness. Hey, I got to step it up here. I'm doing good here. Got to make these adjustments, right? That's a system in its own, is tracking your numbers, right? Tracking your activities. That's probably one of the most important ones, right? If we can't measure it, we can't improve it, right? Awesome. Anybody else? What system implemented in 2024 has served you best? You guys, Sri?
For me, as a starter, how it worked for the first time I was working on CRM, like how to follow the system, like, the contact and what to get call back, to make a consultation, get to the consultation. So when you are clear about that with your client, like I know to get a good one contact, you need to take 10 calls. That really helpful. So first thing when I started as a new agent, first make a good contact. Again, if they are busy, make a call back. Next thing leads to appointment. Next to leads to consultation.
Yeah.
Next to buyer's consultation. So that's how you can start.
There you go.
System instead of just randomly calling 1,000 people. Don't forget your contacts. That's where you again find a client. Can't make 100 calls. and not call back again the same person in the same second.
Yeah.
So make an impact when they say call back at 5 p.m., call back at 5 p.m. That's when they remember you. First time, no one knows who are you. When you call back at 5 p.m., that's when actually they know.
I like that. Yeah. Very powerful. Those of you guys listening at home, Shri said the system of how to follow up, when to follow up with leads, and then also kind of like lead management policy is basically, right? Like I make a call. If they don't answer, I call back. If they tell me to call back, I call back at this time. Then I try to set the appointment. Then on the appointment, I do the consult, right? It's like knowing what has to happen step by step with every single lead. That's called basically a lead management process or a lead management system, right? And that's really, really powerful because if you're just winging it like, hey, I got 10 leads. This one I called, this one I texted, this one I emailed, this one I didn't ask for the consultation, this one you see like there's no way to like scale your business if you're doing different things on every single opportunity that you get, right? You have to have a proven process that you use, right? Some sort of policy, and that's how you're going to convert leads at a high level. And the proof is in the pudding, right? Like the work shows, right? Shri in his first year, and I think we said in 6 months, you had 6 deals, right?
Two of those deals, actually 2 of them are callbacks.
Yeah.
I call back and again give a lot of information. Again, they said, okay, let's talk again over the weekend. Again, I call back. So that's when I realized callback is really powerful. When you tell them that, hey, you asked me to call back at 5 p.m., here I am. How can we discuss about your real estate goals? That's really powerful.
I love that. Fortune's in the follow-up right there. Awesome. Okay, what systems are still missing? Any system that's on your mind where you're like, man, this is something I really need to focus on. I need to get this dialed in. Give me some ideas, guys. What do you got? And also, how will that system elevate your business? 2-part question. Mark.
For me, it was learning the presentation and then kind of like the management from there, how to get more listings or listings in general. It'll affect my business because it opens up a whole new avenue of prospects to go after.
There we go. So Mark said learning the listing presentation along with the process of getting a listing on the market and like the whole process start to finish, right, is really what he needs to focus on, right? You know how to call, you know how to do buyer consultations, you know how to show homes. That's going to unlock a whole nother pillar in your business, right? Unlocks a whole nother level. It's very, very powerful. So that's definitely something you should work on, right? And you've already gotten a little taste of it, right? But now it's time to like next level, be able to take it, you know, start doing it on your own, right? I will tell you guys, like, I got good at listings by just messing up a bunch of them. Right? When I decided like, hey, I want to like become a listing agent, I just want to go after listings. I went on like probably over 100 listing appointments and like butchered a lot of them, right? Like probably more than half of them, and lost a lot of them, right? Didn't get them. But every single time I went, I learned something, right? I learned something. I went back to the lab. I adjusted the presentation. You know, I said, okay, I can't say that. That backfired over here, right? I can't do this. Right. Oh, shoot. I went there and they had 3 other listing presentations on the thing and I didn't have anything. Well, now I need a listing presentation, like a formal one, right? Oh, wait, some of the other agents has a box with like all these things in it, flyers and everything. Oh, shoot, I got to take flyers now, right? Like that's basically like how I like just tripped forward, right? And like just went on a lot of those. And it started with just me prospecting and just booking them and then going out there and just doing it. Now, thankfully, you have my experience where I messed a bunch of them up to where now I can give you the cheat codes and help you get there a lot faster. But really, like to Mark or anybody else wanting to get in listings, like just start doing it. Start doing it. And don't be attached to like, I got to get the listing. Be attached to, I got to get the process down. Right. And if you do that, the listings will come, you know, by default. Amish, you raised your hand.
A real quick one. Is there an easier way to automate the buyer broker agreement and the listing agreement signing? Like instead of like picking up a PDF, filling it up in front of the customer and like sending it out for signing, is there a faster way to do that? Like that's a system that I would like to implement and improve the efficiencies on the operation side.
I mean, you can DocuSign stuff, right? you can, yeah, I mean, to automate them signing a listing agreement, I mean, I just use DocuSign. That's kind of the way. But here's one thing that I would challenge you on, Amish,
Mhm.
right? And I would challenge other people listening, is you're a very like systems, automation, process driven individual. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So here's where I would challenge you, is I would challenge you to not try to logic your way through everything and systematize and automate everything, right? I would
Okay.
challenge you to like get personal with people face to face, learn how to get
Mhm.
somebody to sign that bad boy right in front of you on paper
Mhm.
and perfect that. And once you perfect that, then automate that,
Sure.
right? Because naturally, like
Okay.
your brain goes to automate from the beginning.
Mhm.
And what's going to happen is you're going to lose a ton of experience in that process,
Okay.
because most of the times when I've signed the listing, guys, it was in front of them, right? And it wasn't on the first try. It was like after the third meeting, right? Or the fourth meeting. And it was by having a lot of those conversations, those intimate conversations over and over, addressing certain issues, going back out to the property, getting the contractor to walk through, building my value like step by step by step until the client said, all right, let's sign, right? In a perfect world, we do the presentation on Zoom. They love us. And I just send it to you. You click a button and now you're my listing, right?
Okay.
But that's not the real world, guys. That's not the real world, especially on the listing side. I think on the buyer side, it's becoming more norm because Zillow has like, you push a button and it'll send them the buyer agreement on the touring agreement on Zillow. But on the listing side, it's really more about like the personal and the feel
Okay.
and like more trust and stuff like that. Because they're not just buying a product, they're buying like they're trusting you for the process. So I don't know. I hope that helps, but
Sure. Yeah, it does.
DocuSign is my friend. I've signed hundreds of listings by DocuSign, right?
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else, guys? What systems will elevate your business in 2025? Zillow. Tell me about that.
Zillow leads, Zillow buyer leads, so seller leads. I mean, the leads will elevate your business.
So getting access to more leads, right?
Yeah.
Getting more opportunity is what I'm hearing when you say Zillow, right? Because Zillow can be replaced with whoever, right? Realtor.com, open house, whatever. Just getting more at bats, getting more opportunities, right? Definitely. What do you think you need? What's top skills will you need to focus on or improve in order to be able to handle those at a high level?
Convincing them, how your speech, how you present yourself.
Script, right?
Script, yeah.
Your
All
script.
the script.
Okay, so here's where I'm gonna challenge you, right? I want to challenge you in the fact that it's not just about how you speak, right? It's getting to understand the client and what they need, right? Putting on the consultant hat. Dev and I had a really good one-on-one yesterday, right? And this is what I told Dev. I said, Dev, like, you're smart, bro. Like, every time I'm in the meeting, I go, Dev, give me the number. What's the calculation? He knows those, right? Super smart. He's super process oriented, right? He knows how to show home. He's a hard worker, like all that stuff. I go, but you know what's going to take your business to the next level? I go, it's just connecting with clients on a deeper level. Because when you connect with people on a deeper level, right, and you get to know their wants, their dreams, their fears, why they're buying a home, why today, what's their current situation, what do they need, what are they afraid of, all those different things, and you show them that you care, that builds trust, right? That's how you're going to convert leads at a higher level. So I said, Dev, going forward, like, turn off the computer in your head and put the heart on, right? Bust out your heart and like really connect with those people, right? And I give them a framework called empathy, right? Of just a process. I go, use your logic to go through this process of empathy, right? Right. But all right. But what I'm saying to you, Chris, because you said I need leads, right? We got 26,000 leads in the system. Yeah. Right. You got 26,000 leads that you have access to, right? A lot of times we think we need leads. No, I need to learn how to like consult people better. I need to understand the process in and out. I need to get that buyer presentation down. I need to learn what questions to ask, right? I think that is the part Because then at that point, when I give you leads, then it's slam dunk. But if I give you leads and that process is broken, doesn't matter how many leads you have. And we've seen that where people have 1 million leads and then they just got leads. They don't got no deals, right? And the opportunities get wasted. Okay. Anybody else? We'll take 1 or 2 more and then we'll wrap up, guys. I know we're slightly over. Any skills, any areas, any systems you need to put into your business? Dev, talk to me.
I'll share something you kind of shared with me yesterday that I found really powerful. It's just like four little words: be interested, not interesting. So it's like I feel like I'm gonna just try to incorporate that one sentence in the entire year. I'm doing nothing else. It's just that is my goal. It's like I want to figure out a way to be more interested rather than interesting. Being interesting is hard, like we talked about yesterday. It's
That's interesting. I like that.
yeah, it's like right, but like I mean,
I'm interested.
there you go, right? I mean,
What do you mean by being, and expand on that, right? Dev said, be interested, not interesting, right? What do you, explain that, right? Pick that apart for us.
you can figure it out better than I ever wish I could.
But what does it mean to you?
My best interpretation of that statement would probably be like, it doesn't matter how much you know, it matters how good you know the other person.
That is true.
I like that.
Nail on the head, right?
Yeah.
It
It doesn't matter how much you know, it matters how much you know the other person, right? Anybody can come up and like talk and like sound smart and all that. People don't care about that, right? They don't care about that yet. They care about that once they know you understand them, once they know you've connected with them, once their guard's down, once they're not just viewing you as a salesperson, right? Once you've established some rapport, once you know what's important to them, then at that point, they're open to receiving what it is you have to recommend or the advice that you have to give, right? Sometimes we're trying to like just give advice, give all these things up front, and we haven't yet earned permission, right? And then they put the guard up and then you're just another salesman. This guy's just trying to sell me something, right? People can sense a salesperson, right? Like, what do you get when you got a fast talker? Like if you go to like the South or like Texas or something and someone's just a fast talker, what do they think?
You're a Yankee.
You're a Yankee. I don't know what that means. But where does the saying fast talker come from, guys? Where does that saying come from? Fast talker. Like, oh, he's a fast talker.
You're a salesman.
And what do they associate that with? What do people associate that with? Fast talkers.
Scammers, yeah.
Sleazy, scammers, right? Like, oh, this guy's just trying to sell me something, right? Okay. Do you know why therapy works really well? Because they let you talk. Because they ask one question, right? I've been in therapy and now it's called a life coach. I have a life coach, right? He'll ask you one question and then he'll just shut up and he'll let me talk and he'll listen and he'll go, tell me more.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Well, why'd you come up with that? Right? And then next thing you know, I'm like just fucking talking, right? And then at the end he goes, okay, so what you're telling me is, he repeats back basically what I said. So what you're telling me is this. Yeah. Can I give you, and then he asks permission. Can I give you some advice? And by that time, I'm like, yeah, you just heard me out. You just repeated back. Yeah, like, I want to know. Right. And then he gives me the advice. And I'm like, oh, that was amazing. Right. But you see, it's the same thing, right? Like, if he just came into there, like, just, Enrique, here's your problem, bro. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do that. I'm like, bro, you're not hearing me. Right. People want to be heard. They want to be felt. They want to be listened to before you just give them a recommendation. It's right. Like when you go to the doctor says, okay, why are you here? What are you feeling? If the doctor just says, oh, I know why you're here. Let me give you a prescription. Like, what? Right. Well, what'd you think? Bro, you didn't even ask me what's wrong with me. You're over here trying to give me pills? Run. Right. So be interested, not interesting. When you're interested in someone, what do? You listen. You ask questions. You talk less. They talk more. You ask questions about the question, right? You ask questions about the answer they gave you. You go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers deep, which Blanca does that really, really well. If you know why, is Blanca the most, I'm going to put you on blast right here, Blanca. Is Blanca the most tech savvy marketing type of person? Right? Social media guru and expert out there? Absolutely not. But why does Blanca sell more homes than most people? Because she listens. She makes people feel comfortable. That's just who she is, right? She's great. She connects. She finds out what's important, right? Once she breaks those barriers, then she could say, okay, here's what I recommend, or here's what you shouldn't do, right? Or here's what you should do. Here's why it's not a good time to buy or sell, or here's why you should, right? Yes, you could tell someone why it's not a good time to buy or sell, right? When you're truly trying to do what's right for them, you're going to be honest with them, right? And people want to work with someone when they're buying $1 million house who is honest, right? And the only way for them to see you're honest is to shut up and listen. Oh, I think I just gave you like the keys to success right there, right? If there's anything you could take from this, guys, is just be more interested than interesting. I got that from a podcast I listened to, and that just, it was an easy saying that stuck with me. Ask questions, right? Listen. That will be the catalyst that takes, like, right? Then when I give you 50 leads from Zillow and you treat them all that way, business is booming, right? Business is booming. Any closing thoughts, guys? What'd you take away right now? Any takeaways from today? We're wrapping up now. Be a good listener. Be a therapist, right? Right? Be a therapist. Anything else? Be authentic. Don't call old people. Be authentic.
Telling me their life, and I'm like, oh, really?
People want to talk, right? People want to have someone to talk to,
Yeah, exactly.
right? But then at the end of the day, guys, it's part of human nature. Everybody wants to be loved and appreciated, right? Everybody wants to have someone that they can talk to and connect with, whether it's on a personal level, friendship, intimate level, whatever that might be. We're humans, right? That's what drives the world. Right? It's not so much about the processes and the deals. People just want to feel good, right? Any closing thoughts, Blanca? Any advice?
No, I think you covered it all. And I think one of the most important ones that I really would recommend for all the new agents is just mastering the process of a lead. Shri is perfect success here, being 6 months into the game, and it's just knowing the stages of a lead. And key is follow-up. 2 of his deals that he closed were follow-up. If he wouldn't have followed up or put it on this tracker or learning the system, mastering it, that's going to be a game changer for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just be yourself. I like what you said, Deb. I'm going to remind you. Just kidding.
Interested.
All the systems, we have all these great systems that Enrique and Jason have put into our daily activities, and sometimes they're tedious or they're encumbersome and repetitive, and we may not want to do it, but guess what? That's what's going to take your business to the next level.
Yeah.
The sooner you master it and get it down, you're a step ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the last thing, guys, is show up to trainings, guys. Show up to trainings. You will learn something new, or you will be reminded of something that you forgot to do or that you weren't doing, right? Oh, do you got anything?
I'll say this too. We've been doing this exercise every year, right? And I've noticed that whenever I try to focus on paper for that next year, it does happen. And I was telling Blanca the other day, like, it's kind of every year I'm learning something new. And it's true, like, you do learn how to run a business, not just sell homes.
Yeah.
It does work. So
Absolutely. You know what's cool for some of the agents like Maudi, like that have been with us for a while, is they have seen different versions of this, right? But it's usually the same type of idea. It might look a little different, a couple different questions, but it's the same. It's following the same process, right? But what's cool is when, like, you save these, right? Or you have your notes down somewhere, and then you look at it a year later and you go look back and you're like, oh shoot, like that came true.
Yeah.
Or like, man, I was thinking way different back then. I was in a different place, right? Or I was going through this, and that's why I wrote down that, right? And you get to kind of see your own personal growth. Like, that's something that's like, it's the best feeling in the world when you can look back and see your own personal growth.
One
Right?
more thing I promise. Apply this with your family. Like I've incorporated this with my family also because it's on the personal, the relationship, and then the retirement. You know, this falls in my case, I could say with my husband, and we're like, hey, let's talk a little bit more about that retirement, where we need to be, where we envision ourselves. For you younger agents with your kids, with your husband, with your spouse, you know, what direction do you want your kids to go? And sometimes the kids enjoy this. I have my son now looking at this kind of stuff and I'm like, you need to start thinking about this, get, you know, into the rhythm. So apply it in your personal life.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we could go on for days, guys, but if you need a system like this for your personal relationship with your significant other, I have this other document that I follow. Text me and I'll send it to you. And it's a very simple system, but I promise you, like it'll be like a staple in your relationship that'll just help keep things glued together, right? Especially like Mark just got married, Mauricio's getting married soon, right? All these different things, right?
5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, 5, 10, 20 years into a relationship, like there's always next levels, right? Next levels for each other. But let's finish off, guys. Round of applause for everybody for showing up, right? You guys are doing the work right now that most people do not do. You guys are taking times out of the daily hustle to sit down and reflect, to map out your vision. This doesn't end here, guys. That's what I want to tell you. This is your document now, right? Save this, hold on to it, refine it. If you got to print out another copy and do a final draft, whatever that might be, if you got to put it into your notes, a spreadsheet or whatever, this is just a tool, right? But what you do with this tool, right? That's up to you, right? Like I can give you the blueprint on how to build a house, but you got to go out there and swing the hammer, right? You got to go down to the city and pull the permit. You got to do all the different steps that follow through after the blueprint, right? The house doesn't just build itself. So that also includes like booking one-on-ones with us and saying, hey, Enrique, like out of this whole document, this is one part right here that I really want to focus on. Like, can you help me put together a plan? Can you help me put together a schedule? Can you help me whatever, right? Whatever resource you need, we will help you. I will help you hit your goals. Jason will help you hit your goals. That's part of you being on our team, but I'm not going to chase you. Hey, I want you to hit your goals. Okay, like you have to want it, right? But we're here to support you. We're here to support you and provide all the resources and tools. So thank you guys. Hope you guys got something out of this, and we will see you soon.